Hello beautiful people. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Leslie Grace. I'm a healer, teacher, animal communicator, and I'm in my 26th year of working in that field. Prior to that I worked in dog behaviour and have also worked in veterinary practice as a dog behaviour advisor and veterinary assistant, which will become apparent as I speak on during this video. You can find more out about me on my website lesliegrace.com. But for now I wanted to talk to you about a video that I was watching last night. And I did have a little bit of a rant about this earlier, but I'm going to try really hard not to rant right at this precise moment. It was a medium who was being interviewed, and they spoke a lot about how gifted they were, and there wasn't a lot of humility going on, and it frustrated me. And the reason it frustrated me is because these are not special gifts that a divine being bestows upon us necessarily. They are something that our life path helps us to access. So this is why I gave you a little bit of a background about me. I'm going to give you a bit more, and you will see how my life path mapped me to becoming a healer. The reason for the video is to tell you that everybody has those things within themselves. It's like 100 different radio stations, and some people tune into radio stress and they're stressed all the time. Some people tune into radio carer and they care for people all the time. Some people choose to tap into radio connection with otherworldly things, and that is their focus of their energy. Everybody has the ability to be a medium, be a healer, be an animal communicator within them. It's whether their life path allows for that, whether their interests allow for that, because you're not going to be able to do that unless there is some level of interest within you. But these are things that everybody can reconnect with. We're not learning a new skill, we're remembering an old one. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about how I started this journey. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. For those of you who are old enough and in the UK, this might be a little bit like Jack and Ori. Jack and Ori was a children's story TV programme, for those of you who don't know. So I'm winding the clock back to when I was 13. As a child, I was very spiritually interested. I took myself off to church with my grandparents, purely voluntarily. My parents didn't go. I was interested in all things esoteric. I saw ghosts in my house. I saw a guide who sat on the end of my bed, and I spoke to her regularly out loud. And I used to speak to animals, and that was nothing weird and wonderful for me. I thought everybody did it. Okay, so I discovered horse riding at about the age of 8, and I loved it. Horses are in my top 3 favourite animals. Obviously dogs are number 1 for me, but they're right up there. Horses are the most magnificent, fantastic animals, super sensitive, wonderful healers, and I used to speak to the horses of the riding stables where I went. And one day I was tasked to ride a horse called Carlos, who I have connected with since his passing. And he was not a happy horse. I now realise this. I didn't realise it so much at the time. I knew that he had areas of discomfort because I could feel them. But at the age of sort of 13, you're not fully in tune with everything, I think. And on this particular Saturday morning, we were riding in the woods. The woods that we had access to were beautiful, and it was a lovely sunny spring morning. And Carlos took it into his head to do the most enormous buck, and he threw me off, and I fell across a tree trunk with my back, and my back snapped basically, and so I broke my back and I ended up in hospital. And off the back of that, I got a bone infection and I couldn't walk, and I didn't go back to school after the age of 13, and all these exciting things were happening in my life. And my mum took me to see a healer because I wasn't getting better too quickly, and he told me, you're a healer too. And somewhere in my 13-year-old mind that stuck around, and so I'd been working with my dog behaviour practice, doing okay, but I needed another dimension to my life other than trying to sort out, basically, being brutally blunt, dogs whose humans had caused them to have behaviour problems. So I applied for a job at a veterinary assistant. I was then tasked with in-house behaviour advisor as well, and it was my perfect fit, and that was in the year 2000. And I was there and I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the diversity of the work. And then one day the vet brought in a cat who'd been run over, and the vet had pulled his car over, and he'd scraped the cat from the road and brought it in, and it was in a terrible state. And he operated on it and he wired its jaw, and it really, we didn't expect it to make it. It was very, very sick. It was having fits. It couldn't go to the loo for itself. We had to manually do that for it. And the weekend came around. It survived most of the week till the weekend, and nobody was on call to look after the cat. So I put it in a crate and I took it home and turned my spare bedroom into a hospital room and cared for the cat. And I went up to care for it on the Saturday afternoon, and it was in the middle of a fit, and my heart just went out for this poor little black cat. And so I sat with Cat on my lap, and the words of the man that I'd seen at the age of 13 came into my head. And I thought, right then, if this is a thing, if this is real, then bring it on. And me being me, pretty grounded, fairly blunt, you may get to know that if you follow me for a little longer, sat there and went, right then, God, come on, bring it on, come on, do it, heal this cat. And I sat there and I didn't feel anything, and I thought to myself, it's not real, is it? It's just a made up thing, this healing lark. And then I tried to take my hands off the cat, and they were stuck like two incredibly strong magnets, and they stayed there. I have no idea for how long, but what I can tell you is that the cat didn't experience another fit. By the time I took it back to work first thing Monday morning, it was being able to go to the toilet for itself, and it made a full recovery. And obviously that sparked something, not just in myself, but my colleagues as well. We were just stood in the surgery, sort of mouths open, going, what just happened? What was that? And so I decided to investigate this hands-on healing thing that I'd experienced. I need to experience. I can't believe what somebody is telling me. And so I did, and I experimented with different modalities until I found Reiki, and that for me was the thing that really resonated, and I really felt that I'd come home. I felt that I had found my soul purpose. So what the Reiki did was just ignite that which was already in me. Reiki is spiritual energy. It brought out what was already there. We all have a divine spark within us. It is purely down to our own personal choice and how we navigate through our lives as to whether we choose to light that spark up, or we keep it as is and lead what some people would call a normal life, and some people might call my life weird. To me, it isn't weird, it's perfectly normal. What I took exception to with the man on the video was that he was truly making himself out to be something very, very special. And the way he was speaking about his work, I felt his inauthenticity come through the screen at me. And I'm not dissing him. I'm sure he does the best job that he can, and he has happy clients, and you know, good for all of us who are trying to make our way in the world. But what I was concerned about was him making out that this is something that he, as a gifted individual, somebody who's very special, has that other people can't do. That just isn't the case. Everybody, if you are interested enough in connecting with departed loved ones and animals, you can do that, but you can't wave a magic wand and make it happen. With healing, the thing that healed the cat from me to start with was absolute love and compassion. That's where that came from, and that energy transmitted from me, that divine spark within me, down through my arms and into the cat. Something very magical happened that day. Something happened that day that literally changed the course of my life. And I have been doing that ever since. So we're in 2026 now, hence my 26th year. And in 2006, I decided that I would like to pass that on to other people and teach other people how to awaken that which is already sleeping within them. That is all we're doing. We are waking up something that is maybe lying dormant. And there are different levels of sleep, as we know when we go to sleep at night. There is deep, deep sleep, and there is light sleep. Some people, that spark within them is so lightly asleep that it will wake up really quickly. Some people takes peeling back some layers of life that's happened, sometimes childhood traumas, sometimes toxic relationships, all cover us in layers that perhaps darker layers that perhaps need to be peeled back in order for us to access that light within us. But it is doable for every single soul who walks the planet. And so that's why I wanted to come on, because people have called me gifted when I've done healings, and have had other experiences during this journey of mine. And it isn't. It's not that I am gifted. It is something that I have chosen to do because it aligns with my soul and who I am, and every fibre of my being knows that it is right for me, but other things are right for other people. So I just wanted to make that point to you, and I think I've done that now, so I'm going to leave you. But just know that if you are interested in any kind of healing work, animal communication work, any of those modalities, connecting to spirit, you don't have to be bestowed a magical gift and sprinkled in fairy dust or whatever. If you have that desire within you and you are willing to do the work on yourself mostly, then you will be able to uncover those things that you're already there for you to find. So you're not learning new things, you're remembering old things that you may have done in many lifetimes. I'm going to leave you now. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and thank you so much for listening to me. If you wouldn't mind liking this video, that would be fantastic. I would really appreciate that. So until next time, lots of love. Bye bye.